We are live.
Yo, yo, what's up, everybody? This is Vancity Beats, Eats, and more.
That's epic enough.
That was good. I love the high pitch.
You can give them a little.
Exactly. I am Kazi, and today on the show, I'm joined by my sister, one of my best friends, who it's like going on 14 years. I did the math earlier today. Yeah. The one and only Masia One, who is an incredible artist, a cultural ambassador, a creative consultant, a entrepreneur of many different things. If you haven't read the bio, you should do that so I don't have to repeat myself. But this amazing human is here in town for a very, very short amount of time. And so we thought we needed to get her on the show to talk about her incredible music, creative, entrepreneurial journey around the world, and to also cook up a dish with a sauce that she's developed, a marinade, which is called Suka Suka. It is an Caribbean-inspired Asian take, Southeast Asian flavors of a jerk marinade. And so I thought, why don't we make Rasta pasta?
Let's do it.
Especially since this song came on that I am obsessed with. I played it for you last week. It is called Rasta Pasta, featuring I Am DDB, shout outs, and Masego. It is so good. And if we had things rights cleared, I would just play it the entire hour that we're cooking.
I understand.
But cannot.
It's okay.
So in my mind, we're just, just slow rock. This is what's happening today. So if anyone has never made Rasta pasta before, it is a fusion of obviously pasta Italian with jerk flavors, so the Jamaican flavors. And what's so cute about it is that the peppers are the Rasta colors, the red, the yellow, the green, which Masia, you arranged very specifically.
Yes.
Because
red represents the blood of the people. Mm-hmm. Yellow represents the sunshine that gives us life. And green is open to interpretation. Nature.
Yeah. Nature, bushes, trees.
Things that are good for your eyes,
Yeah. Landscapes, vistas. Anyways, while we're cooking today, we're going to get to know Masia a bit more. I have so many good questions because I've known you forever.
True.
But
we don't really chop it up shop.
Exactly. And to also do like a reflection on your journey at this point in time, because you've literally been in the game for so long.
True.
We're going to talk about all those things while we cook at the same time. So just to, I guess, give a review of what's going to go down, we are going to chop up the peppers. We're going to cut up some of these mushrooms. I also forgot to mention that this is a Rasta Asian fusion pasta. And I decided to take my own spin on this. Usually they use like jerk chicken or shrimp, like a different kind of protein. But as you know, we're trying the plant-based right now. So I've got our good old Asian mushrooms. We've got seafood mushrooms, we've got oyster, we've got shiitake. And something I've been doing lately with my pasta is instead of using regular pasta, I have been using like udon noodles.
Nice.
Or some sort of, Asian pasta. It's literally same thing, different shape,
True. Didn't Marco Polo discover
the pasta?
The noodles
discover?
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Found, discovered,
Yeah.
discovered. From the East. So
Yeah.
pasta.
Okay, so why don't we start with, Masia, if you want to help me with cutting these.
Sure.
Do you know? So how we'll do it, we'll cut in half. And then we'll cut out the inside seeds part. And then we can put it inside of that silver bowl I have tucked to the side. Yes. Or do you mind to bring it a bit closer to me? Thank you. And then, after you clean out the seeds, because some people might find that spicy, but on bell peppers, they're quite sweet. You don't really taste them. We're going to cut them like julienne style. I've always wondered who's julienne, or if that's a French word for this shape. Is that true? I asked our French-speaking correspondent, Jamal, over behind the camera.
Yes,
So, yeah. We're going to do that, but maybe like a bit thinner, because if we think about the shape, I'm all about like shapes when you're cooking and like how they fit on the fork, you know? So if we're using like long pasta, then I like them like long, thin.
It makes a difference how the sauce and the fry takes to the shape.
Exactly. Okay, sweet. So I'm going to have you continue doing that for us. No problem. And then I'm going to start cutting up some mushroom. But yeah, what's really cool is recently I've been up on your social media. Wow. I feel like I'm just going to take credit here because I know for a fact that I am one of the early adopters who then like really showed you back like 10 years ago the goodness of IG, and now you're just like...
No, you showed me the goodness of Snapchat. Those were Snapchat days. I was like, why would anyone want to take their face talking in this like IG story format? And then I understood.
Pre-IG story, because they stole that from Snapchat. Yep. That's what happened. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, I've been up on your social media, just reacquainting myself with the things you've posted. And then, you know, like you posting about making it on Complex Canada's, when they were celebrating 50 years of hip-hop, they released an article of 10 women in hip-hop that changed the game for Canada's hip-hop. You know, Canadian hip hop. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, obviously I know why, but like, I'm curious to know, like, what was the game before you entered, which you were named as number 8.
Very auspicious number, by the way.
Yes, agreed. We love the number 8, 88. Yeah, what was the game before you entered it, and then how did you contribute to changing it?
Wow. That's big things to talk about, you know. I think
we out here
entering the game. Yeah, definitely early days. Very, can I say balls and backpack?
Sure.
It was definitely very male dominated in the scene. It was hip hop. That's not to say that women didn't love hip hop, but when you went out to the live shows, when you went out to the jams, it was predominantly dudes. Mm-hmm. And, you know, growing up, I was always like the token girl in crews, whether it's like playing basketball, whether it's being into...
The homegirl.
Yeah, the homegirl that was like cool, you know, the homegirl that was down with the dudes, that type of thing. Yeah. So I was very comfortable in that space. But I just didn't understand it because I just felt that, you know, people come out when there's a mix and diversity and there's you know, different flavors in the space. So I was like, you guys are shooting yourselves in the foot to be very just one-minded. The other thing that I noticed was that the elements of hip-hop, which I had grown up loving, I mean, I discovered hip-hop when I was 8 years old in Singapore. So I didn't have it immediately around me as a culture in those days. I had to like look for it. Went to the library to look up hip hop books. Internet wasn't popping like that either, so you really had to seek the information.
Quick pause.
Yeah.
Around when was this, and how exactly did you discover hip hop at 8 years old in Singapore?
At 8 years old, I had been given some Chinese New Year money because we have we call them ang paos or lai si, and they're red packets. You have to get some cash in there. Like, what am I gonna do? So my mom was in the wet market buying like fish or something. And there was a bootleg cassette tape shop in this wet market. So I wandered into the shop and I saw the cover where this cartoon man, what seemed like a cartoon man with a giant clock around his neck. I was like, I love this. What's this tease, you know? Yeah. So I didn't realize that I had bought Public Enemy.
Oh my.
And I bought that and a Bananarama tape that day.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I really liked the Public Enemy soundtrack that I got. I think it was It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. And well, I grew up with my cousins listening to Taiwanese pop music, Chinese songs, that kind of thing. And I was here like, 911 is a joke. So, you know, a different influence. But once I discovered that, everything that Chuck D quoted in his lyrics, I would then go seek out. Because I'm like, I don't understand the political intonations of the music. I don't really understand the full scope of what he's talking about. I just know whatever he's speaking about is very urgent and it's very important because that was the vibe, the energy. So I'm like, what is this? These things that he's talking about that's so important. So I looked them up. Everything from the autobiography of Malcolm X, George Orwell, like anything he said, I just would look it up, and that's how I got into hip hop. Truly. So when my family immigrated to Vancouver, Canada, I'm like, okay, I'm closer to New York. We're closer to the source. So I just go looking for anything hip hop in those days. We had Much Music, Rap City in those days. So those were my sources, and that's what I kind of came up on.
Wow. And then also your brother, right?
Yeah, my brother played a lot of reggae and hip hop. So West Coast, he was playing a lot of Snoop and Dre and that type of stuff in those days. And he loves Peter Tosh, so our house would always have Peter Tosh, Black Uhuru, Toots and the Maytals, this kind of music playing. And my parents are very traditional Asian parents.
Yeah.
It's the news.
Yeah.
So upstairs was the news, and downstairs was Peter Tosh.
Yes. So, okay.
Me going on these mushrooms?
Yeah. Slash, I feel like the mushrooms tend to shrink a lot.
Okay, so go easy on the size.
Yeah, or like maybe we just don't. Because then we're going to do this method where I like...
Let me give them like a diagonal.
Okay, give them a diagonal. Like that one could have like a half situation. Because, what I love doing with the mushrooms is pan frying them and then like squeezing out the moisture so that they get crispy. Super good. So you were saying what the game was prior, and then at what point did you step in that you started to like explore yourself in this art form?
Well, I remember at that time there wasn't anybody that looked like me on TV in general, actually, unless it was a kung fu flick or talking about Harajuku girls or everything in a character in a kind of a Asian stereotype.
Is this like the 90s?
Yeah, this is the 90s. So I remember I looked up to Kuya, shouts out to Kuya, which was like the first Filipino R&B group that I saw on television.
Yes.
Today,
Kuya?
Yeah, Kuya.
Trying to recall. No, I know, but I'm trying to recall.
Now they're all like major producers that are making like the hits that you guys listen to. So it's pretty amazing how far they've come. And also there was a rapper named Kish, who I think was half Japanese. I was like, wow, Asian person's allowed to do hip hop. So I came up as a graph writer, actually, and I was very shy. I was a painter first and foremost. Never thought I would grab a mic, be in front of people, be in front of a camera. And I just, in university, I went to Toronto for university, attended U of T for architecture.
Yep, has a degree in architecture, can design something.
You know, kept the parents happy. Got a minor in economics, but what?
We educated.
Be educated, respect the architects.
Yeah.
And I put an advert in the paper for a roommate. A man named Jesse Otaki showed up as my roommate.
Jesse Otaki.
I think my ad, yes, Jesse, Korean hearts for Jesse Otaki. Yes. I think my ad said, must love hip hop. And he's like, well, I kind of like hip hop guy. And then he moved in like a jillion crates of records and vinyl, so that was amazing.
Yes.
And he had a show called I Used to Love Her at Comfort Zone. And if you were like a longtime head in Ontario, you'll probably know about the Comfort Zone.
What was it?
Pretty sketchy place.
Yeah.
But it's where a lot of hip hop jams went down. You got to see back in those days Tuff Dumpling, Tara Chase. Who can I name? Like all the really early hip hop heads. Mindbender was spitting in those days.
Mindbender! These are all old Toronto cats.
Yes. And so
staples.
He was throwing a show, it was an all-female show, and one of his acts bailed. He's like, I need a female MC. Where am I going to get a female MC in this hour? And my shy self that's been writing little bedroom raps for years, it's like, well, maybe I could do it like just once to prove to myself that I'm not too shy to do it. Did it. Rocked it, and got a commercial for Much Vibe after that.
Whoa!
Yeah.
You were like, what, 19, 20?
Maybe 20.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting on a bench rapping for Much Vibe, and after that, it was really, the ball just kept going. I was going to do it just one time to prove to myself that I'm not too shy to do it, and it just kept going. I mean, people would just be like, who's that Chinese girl that raps? And they could find me pretty easily, because in those days, there really wasn't that much representation. So... yeah, that's how things got started. I used to hate it when interviewers would ask me like, "What's it like being a female Asian MC?"
Yeah.
But as I went through my early career, and we used to go into high schools and like perform for high school kids, and we go to like small towns throughout Canada, and like the one Vietnamese student would come to me crying, saying like, "I get beat up every day for being Asian, and you just made being Asian cool. Like, thank you so much." And as I had these type of experiences, I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess representation actually does matter. And I don't mind the question about what's it like being a female Asian MC as much anymore, because I start to understand the impact of it.
That other people could see themselves reflected in you.
Sure.
And that they could explore themselves creatively.
I mean, just like when I saw Kuya, when I saw Kish.
Right.
And for me, a B-girl named Masia One, when I saw a female like throwing down in a cipher, I'm like, Asian people are allowed to do this. Women are allowed to do this.
Yes.
And just this feeling of being allowed to be in that space what made a big difference.
So that's how you help change the game. And then how from there, because I mean, you had your degree in architecture. You could have just like, that was a quick stint, and now I'm like gonna design buildings and houses. But like, how did you then decide like, this is actually the path forward for me?
Well, it was a pretty simple decision. I kind of felt that there were already a lot of Asian and female architects, but there weren't that many Asian female MCs. So I'm like, let's go to the place that has less of me represented, I suppose. And I just really loved it. I loved writing music. I loved the communities that were building around this. At this time, the grassroots community in Toronto was really amazing. People were really supportive. People that weren't supportive had like a healthy dose of battle, like, no, you better come correct, or we will throw a bottle at you. Like, it was like that. I definitely did face a lot of racism and prejudice and sexism, but in doing so, being able to really work on my skills and just show the longevity of what I was doing. So yeah. And then together with Jesse, we created the M1 Academy because we noticed that a lot of the elements of hip-hop was separated. And we wanted to bring those elements together in a space. Like, the culture thrives when everyone can come together.
Totally.
So dancers, DJs, writers, everyone, we just wanted to create a space where everyone could come together. And in those days, there was so much talent. Early Zaki Ibrahim, Isis Salam. We brought down Bahamadia and Ladybug Mecca.
Oh my God, best flow, Bahamadia.
As our early like headliners, just to keep that kind of vibe and energy. And it started getting really good because these M1 Academies were the first hip-hop jams happening where a lot of people from different walks of life, women, ethnicities, everyone was just coming out because it was a more comfortable space. And yeah, so we created a nice space for community to build.
That's super dope. Also, I just want to shout out Jesse Otaki because he has been like a big bro mentor to so many, and myself included.
Yep.
When I lived in my Toronto chapter, he took me on, and I got to be part of one of his parties called The Main Ingredient. And
yes.
I got to shoot video and photo at those parties. And like, the thing I'll say about Jesse is that he has this way of knowing like who is the artist that's gonna pop. You know, and like really have good curation on who he chooses to put on.
Little known fact, Jesse Otaki spotted this like unknown singer at the time and booked him for this coffee shop. Like, Masia, help me with this.
Yes.
So we threw the first John Legend show in Canada.
You were part of that!
P.S. And yeah, Jesse Otaki's like, I think this John Legend guy's pretty good.
This guy.
this dude.
Yeah.
And Jessie was my first manager. And at the time, there were a lot of people that were just like, nah, she's just a gimmick. You know, who's heard of Asian girls rapping? All kinds of things. And he was always like, don't worry, guy. Let's just get your stuff out there. And he was always really open-minded. And
gentle, friendly giant.
Showed me the hustle and showed me how to go out and get yours.
Now it's time.
Korean hearts again for Jesse Otaki.
And then this is to squish all the haters.
Wow.
All the haters who didn't believe.
That's right.
So another way that you can do this, mind you, I've just put a bit of oil. I put the shiitake, I put the oyster. I still have the seafood mushroom. I should have just cooked it all together, but whatever, we're here. And you could also just put like a heavy pot on top. But then, I don't know how we discovered this, but Jamal and I were cooking the other day, and then I just started doing this, and he's just like, I like the sound of that. Whatever you're doing there, the sizzle.
Mash up the mushrooms.
Yeah.
This is used for mashed potatoes, isn't it?
That is true.
All right, so mash your mushrooms.
Mushrooms, squeezing out the moisture.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the sound you want to hear.
Mash up your haters.
Yes. Mash up your hater.
Got no time for your hydration.
Yeah. No Asian hate allowed here. Do you want to get the jerk ready?
Yes.
A little
There's
bit.
not much to get ready. I'll shake it.
Yeah, give it a shake.
Spoon?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Oh, I should have. Just don't
Prep
want you
the
to see
spoon.
what's inside of here, everyone.
Don't know our secrets.
Don't know our secrets. We'll just take a bunch of spoons out.
Spoon.
So then, from that point, you were saying, how did you then like go full tilt for music, which then led you to leave Toronto?
I realized that with an artistic life, of course, there's always the consideration to, have that part-time job. Everyone's telling me like, it's a good hobby, just make it a hobby. You have an architecture degree. But I realized that because we were breaking down barriers, because we were facing a lot of like gatekeepers that have been doing things the same way for a long time.
Oh yeah.
I felt it in my gut that I had to go full tilt. Like this was going to be my career and my ambition. The hobby would just not make it, like you can't really break down the barriers that I wanted to.
Can I get you to just keep stirring this
No
for
problem.
a minute? While I get a plate real quick.
And the jobs kept coming in. Canada was very supportive. I got an award from the Canadian Chinese National Council for being a pioneer.
What? Yeah, you did.
I started touring to California, where there's a huge like Asian population from the Filipino community, the Thai community. So I started always having a place to tour.
Yes.
I really enjoyed making music videos, so I felt that my music videos would stand out. I did one called Split Second Time.
I was just going to ask you because I rewatched that.
That's the one that everyone kind of first discovered me from.
Okay, we'll switch.
Sure.
Yeah, and you had so many good dancers in that one. Tell me about that video, and was that your first time ever making like a high production music video? Because that was that was like Much Factor.
Yeah, it was a Video Fact video from back in the day.
When Much Music gave grants for that kind of stuff?
Yep. We did one with RT called Halfway Through the City. This was my second video after.
Yeah.
And Jin had just been signed by Rough Riders.
Oh my.
You guys don't know, Jin's this Chinese MC from Florida that was a dope freestyler. He was killing the game on like Freestyle Fridays on BET. And I'd never seen an Asian face on BET, so I was very excited about that.
Yes.
And but when he got signed, his first single was called Speak Chinese, and they shoved like every cliche of Asian culture into this thing, and the very like, oh, speak Chinese, ching chong zhe zhe. I'm like, oh god, like a diverse language with like put down into these sounds. So I made Split Second Time as a political commentary on trying to put in every stereotype I could think of how people in this side of the world's media saw Asian people. So I had the Kung Fu fighters, the submissive tea serving Japanese schoolgirls.
Yeah.
I was just trying to, I was wearing like a child's kimono. Just everything I could put in there. Here's the irony that I've never figured out. It started getting a lot of airplay. I mean, like, this thing was number 3 on the Much Music countdown.
Right.
I was beating Jay-Z at that time on the countdown.
Oh my gosh!
As an independent, as someone no one had ever heard of.
Yeah.
And this, like, suddenly Chinese chick that raps,
Yes.
So I think I was on the countdown with, like, Chaos and Beastie Boys and Jay-Z at the time.
Wow.
And all were represented by majors, but I was doing stuff, like, really, like, independent AF.
Yes.
So, yeah, it was a really cool accomplishment. I don't know if they played it a lot because I had all those stereotypes of Asian people in there. So, like, oh, this makes sense. Or if people understood the tongue-in-cheek message of what I was trying to say. But either way, it got played. It featured my high school friends from Vancouver who I dragged there to be the schoolgirls in the video who are really mad at me.
Was Maji and
Maji and Michi were in the video, if you look. And Frida, P.S.
Amazing.
Aritzia was sponsoring me because I was working for Aritzia at the time, and they helped, like, I was saving up money for my first album.
Yeah.
And so they're rocking the gear. And yeah, like that video ended up going really far, not just in the Canadian market, but then it got sent out to all these Asian American music video festivals and film festivals, and yeah, it just got out there.
Ooh, seafood mushroom. You want to try?
Do you mash this too?
You want to try a mush?
Yeah.
There you go.
Mash the mushroom right now.
Yeah. There you go. The one thing is that
one got deep mashed.
that one, yeah, we had to do one of those.
It's alright. So you want to spread it out so everyone gets
There you go.
some airtime.
Yes.
It's kind of strangely satisfying.
I told you, this is why I love doing it. It's like
Mash up the mushrooms.
you know, mash up the mushrooms. There you go.
Mash up the mushrooms.
Hey, hey. Mash up the mushrooms.
The thing about cooking, you know, you always have to put a vibe into the food.
That's it.
You know?
Which is why cooking with music and playlists, that's something we
It's
should start
necessary.
doing. Making playlists for y'all when you try these recipes. Okay, and then I'm trying to get to the story. I'm like trying to lead her into telling a story that I know. But the part where you met Che Vicious.
Ah, okay.
Or Che Pope?
Che Pope.
Yes.
Also known as Che Vicious.
Yes.
So from Split Second Time, you know, I kept putting out music, was consistent with it. We put out something called Return of the B-Girl, which engaged all the women I knew in the community at the time. I felt that no one was documenting those histories of so many dope female dancers, DJs that were pioneers, MCs, singers, creators, muralists, just everything.
Yes.
So we did this video called Return of the B-Girl, which was an excuse to do a family portrait of all the women in the community at the time.
Yeah.
But Return of the B-Girl ended up hitting the ears of a man named Che Pope. He was a producer in LA. At the time, he was working for Dr. Dre at Aftermath. He was involved in producing The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, produced for Kanye West, everyone you can think of, just a phenomenal creator. And he asked me to come out to America to kind of test things out, either for a signing for myself as an artist, and also to do some writing and creating for this subsidiary label he wanted to create called Cops and Robbers. So I was on the next plane out. I was in Arizona for a while, test run some songs. They played a beat that was for Nas, but I heard the beat and I'm like, this beat is nasty. I need this beat. Hey, if I rock something on this beat for y'all, can I have it? I know it's Nas, but like, can I have it? Or could you put Nas on the song with me? He's a big ass, but sometimes in life you just gotta go for it, you know?
Yes.
So I demoed the song. It was for Warrior's Tongue. For a song I ended up writing called Warrior's Tongue. And they liked it so much they kept it. I got to keep the beat. No Nas on it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And they used that song to shop it to all the different, labels. Hey, you want to take a chance on this female Asian rapper? But I had a lot of influence of like Jamaican music and dancehall and raga style on it, just because from what I grew up on, my brother playing it a lot. And so at that time, they felt that, no, like this, Jamaican flavor meeting hip hop never happens. That can't work. And, kind of.
Never happens. Look up Mishi Me.
This was post Mishi Me, but just before Major Lazer.
Oh.
Right? It was just prior to Major Lazer. So, anyways, I'd seen all this before, like, Asian girls aren't supposed to rap, hip-hop's not supposed to be mixed up with anything else. So I just kept on my independent path, kept going. I think it was 7 years later, that same song that was rejected by all of the labels got picked up and remixed to be used as the soundtrack, the trailer song for Fast and Furious 8, which debuted in Times Square. So a lesson for creatives out there, if, no one's feeling it, maybe the time hasn't come for that song, for that creation, for that idea. And just, if you feel it in your gut, stick to your vision. as Maestro says.
Because Warrior's Tongue is a fire tune.
Respect. Just want to make music to make people feel brave, you know? Like I was coming into this hip-hop space and into this industry kind of feeling shy as a painter, as a natural introvert.
Yes.
And not knowing anyone and it being very one-sided and who was a big player in the game. And just wanted to start making music that I would have liked to hear, to feel brave, to go ahead and pursue the things you want to pursue.
Exactly. Ooh, we got mushrooms,
Smells
baby.
nice in here.
And now we're about to add the Suka Suka jerk marinade, which it's a good segue, Maisha, to talk about how this came into development and into your life.
All right. So after Hollywood, I moved to Jamaica.
Yes.
As we do when we spend time in Hollywood, and we're like, hey, what's the opposite of this life? In my brain, naturally Jamaica, because my brother had been playing all those records for me when I was young, and just like Bun Babylon and all of this thing. I'm like, all right, let's go to the place that's like the opposite of Hollywood.
Yes.
So a musician named Dylan Murray, his mother had a charity there. I arrived there to participate in this charity and also get my groundings about Jamaica. Fell in love, was amazed by the kids that I worked with, how they had more talent than half the like Hollywood starlets that I got to work with. And just being able to be around the root, the just pure talent again, you know, like it just not to look cute for a camera, not to show up at the opening just because you have a voice to sing, a body to dance, something to express. And going back to those roots was very inspiring for me. So wait, where am I going with this? Oh, Suka Suka, yes. Post Jamaica, what is happening right now?
Yo, I just went full, like, this is how I cook when I cook, right? Like, I'm just like, freestyle. I cook with my eyeballs. I don't measure stuff. And I just went 2 spoonfuls. But, yo, that has a kick. And it went on my throat.
P.S. Suka Suka is a marinade. It's not a ready-to-pour sauce. If you want it to be a ready-to-pour sauce, you mix it with, like, olive oil. It's a good dip with, like, mayo. It's a good salad dressing with Greek yogurt.
What's the ingredients in there?
So, okay, I've been doing this. I've been walking around every supermarket here. And the ingredients literally are all things that you can actually pronounce. So, lime, shallots, vinegar, hibiscus, ginger, vegetable oil, and garlic, and all natural sugars. We don't add sugar. So this product has no E numbers, no MSG, no
E numbers.
Yeah,
E numbers. What you mean.
E numbers are the things you can't pronounce, man.
Yeah, you're like, what is that chemical?
Even most sauces will use citric acid. We hand squeeze calamansi juice. Squeeze
the
from
key limes of my people.
The baby limes that you get in Southeast Asia, we hand squeeze them into the sauce. Yes. So when I moved back to Southeast Asia, I could not get good jerk. Like everywhere says they have jerk chicken, it tastes like barbecue. It's not make it, you know? And having lived in Jamaica on and off for about 5 years, I was missing this cuisine. But I also knew that the soil of Southeast Asia is so fertile, so amazing. It's hot all year. So it had a similar climate to the Caribbean. So I just rented myself a small plot of land and started growing the herbs and spices until I got to the taste and the style that I thought was really good. And Suka Suka. Which means anything, no problem. I kind of a feeling of Irie. I won't tell you what it means in Russian. You Russians out there know what it means. I'm not allowed to swear on the show.
Oh.
But it means something racy in Russian.
Okay.
But all PR is good PR.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Yeah, it just means like, in Malay, it means like sauce. And in Indonesia, you know, when people are like, oh, why are you late for work? Suka suka la, you know? So I wanted the Suka Suka feeling to be in the sauce. Kind of like me, like I'm a mix-up culture kid. I'm like 8 culture kid by this time. You know, born in Singapore, grown up by Canada, worked in America, lived in the Caribbean, been all around the world and back because of the blessing of music that has brought me around the world. And and then I'm back. So this Suka Suka sauce is really a representation of my love for islands, my love for fresh food, no preservatives in the stuff, vegan friendly. And yeah, little bit of vibe while you're making something to nourish the body.
I remember being at that one of that first meetings with the I guess the agriculturalist who was working on this sauce.
Yes.
And we sat down at a restaurant with you and your dad, and we were sampling the early beginnings of this sauce, which was sick.
And the early beginnings, well, why I really started the sauce was I found that in Southeast Asia, there was actually a strong stereotype against reggae music. They're just like, reggae is Bob smoking. And that's all it is. There was no other artist. There wasn't an understanding that there was literature involved and poetry and food and cuisines and culture.
Much history.
Culture, all of these things. So I wanted to create something that allows people to lower their walls of resistance when they're scared of something that they don't know. Like, what is this Jamaican music or reggae music? I don't know what that is. And the one way to speak to all Asian people is through their bellies. Perhaps all people, period.
Facts.
Right?
That is a language that can unite us all.
So I just wanted to create a conversational piece that when we sit down and eat and it tastes good, that we can all have a neutral conversation and begin sharing each other's culture based on that alone. And I want it to be a vehicle to also share music of independent artists from that side of the world, from the Caribbean, and bring people together. So that's what I'm working on now.
Yeah.
The formula of the sauce is, in my opinion, just perfect right now. So now I'm going to start moving it into the space to help share music. I think that today's creatives have to be more creative in terms of like, we're not just selling a t-shirt. We're not just limiting ourselves and finding the places where people can relate and then sharing your art and your craft through those mediums too.
So, update fam.
I'm so taking one.
We have put in the red, green, and yellow peppers. I had to sift through some of them because some of them were cut too thick. Not thin, to my liking, with seeds, but, you know, no shade. And we've added the onions, we've added some garlic, and now we're just going to saute these until they're nice and soft. And this is what is
Look at the colors.
I know. Gorgeous. So yeah, we've jumped a little bit all over. It's hard to understand Masia's linear path of what, you know, because you talked a bit about your time working in LA, working under Dr. Dre's label, and having that dose of like what it's like to be in the Hollywood music.
Yes, I was doing a lot of ghostwriting there behind the scenes, writing a lot of pop music actually, but it was a good practice for me as like an underground hip-hop head, learning the importance of a hook, learning the different ways people express themselves, whether it's like writing more R&B, writing more, and at that time I was going toward EDM, like the EDM movements were coming, so writing some of that stuff. Being able to do a collabo with RZA, which as a hip-hop head was a dream come true. And
what was that like?
Amazing, just really, really amazing. Seeing how different MCs create their verses. For him, he just made noises like bzz, bzz, he made sounds, and then his flow would work around the sounds that he had laid down.
Wow.
Yeah, so that
sick.
stuff was super cool to see how different creatives think.
Yeah.
And also writing music that other people would sing, so being able to see my own art being performed by other people too. Around this time, I started getting really interested in publishing, placing that. Now someone's singing your music, another voice is singing your music, and now putting that music into TV and movie and shows and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was a really good time to learn the business.
And then when you left that, because it got a bit crazy, it was just...
Yeah, you know, I mean, you can write a lot of hooks and be proud of what, you know, like this is very catchy. But at some point I'm like, maybe I don't want to write something catchy. Maybe I just want to write something from the heart. And sometimes the things that come out of your heart are not so clean and perfect and well produced and, you know, sing-alongable. Yeah, sometimes you just want to make some like throat singing noises, you know, and just go for it.
When you started... I guess living part-time-ish in Jamaica, what do you feel that, you know, especially because you grew up listening to that music, what do you feel that really, like, what did that reveal to you? Or, like, how did you feel so connected? What about it did you feel so connected? You know, like, I get it because, like, there are places that I feel like I just fall in love with. And
Yes.
it's that in love feeling.
No, but I've thought about this a lot. I think I come from a very conservative culture where my parents, you don't do stuff like become a rapper, right? You like doctor, lawyer, or marry one. There's a very decided path that is seen as good and successful. But then you have to actually be an adult and start redefining what does success mean to you, what does happiness mean to you, all of these things. And I love emceeing, but I never saw myself as a singer either. And suddenly now there was this culture where people are very upfront. Like, if you're wearing a green shirt, it'd be like, yo, green shirt. And, it's like that in your face, that upfront. And I'm coming from a society that's very curated, there's certain like rituals of politeness. You got to call your aunties by order of their birth. Like, there's definite rules to the society. And now I was going into this space where people were very, very expressive, more than I'm used to.
Yes.
I'm like, I've loved this. I've waited for this my whole life. And the other thing is my Rasta pot story. One day I was like on a hill and I saw a Rasta man. Yes. Pan back to the Rasta pasta. Yeah. Wearing a kitchen pot on his head and just singing at the top of his lungs. And he had like the worst voice. He couldn't hold a note to save his life. Yeah. And so I stopped him like, yo, Rasta man, why are you singing? And why do you have a kitchen pot on your head? And he's like, you see this kitchen pot? No one have this style. This is my kitchen pot hat style, my unique style. And you hear this voice, you might not think it's pretty, but my voice this, my own voice. And only I know how to shape my voice the way I feel good about it. And just from that encounter, I started singing because I said, all right, I might not be Aretha Franklin, but let me start to understand my voice so well, whether recorded, whether like playing with the different things it can do, and start to actually fall in love with your own voice and do things with it. And that experience and time in Jamaica, I feel, made me accept myself a lot more. Yes. Made me see the possibilities, be less conservative or worried about fitting within confines, and just like, being happy to see where life goes.
Yes.
Yep.
Jamaica is full of those stories. So another fun fact. This is actually enter the part of the story where Masia and I became friends. Where I am living in Toronto. I'm studying in university there. I am working and volunteering for a festival called Manifesto. It was a festival for hip-hop community culture. And same friend, Jesse Otaki, who was working with me, was like, you remind me of someone named Masia One. And I was like, what? Who? And I looked her up and like, okay, first of all, that is like not cool to say to her because she is definitely so much cooler than me. And it so happened that like literally maybe a month later, we both ended up on the Manifesto trip that took, it was Manifesto TO meets Brooklyn, where a bus load of us hopped on from Toronto, did the 10.5-hour ride to New York, to Brooklyn, and we went there for the Hip-Hop Festival, and we did a showcase where it was Toronto artists and Brooklyn artists. Honestly, that trip is so significant still to me.
And DJ Saraso's my DJ on that one. Flew from Japan, but that's a whole different story.
And then you were there, and then we actually got to meet, and we took a picture in front of the Brooklyn Bridge. I remember this. And then later, when we had returned back to Toronto, Manifesto was gearing up to do Manifesto Jamaica, like a Jamaican chapter of this festival. And, sorry, quick pause. I'm just feeling into, like intuitively, magically feeling into the peppers here. They feel about ready. And I think that the next step of this sauce making is ... fire roasted tomatoes, a bit of, I've got some, this is mushroom broth here.
Nice.
And then we've got some coconut cream. Oh yeah, so let's see. Help me remember where I left off with my story, okay, sis?
Brooklyn, then Manifesto went to Jamaica.
Yep.
From there, we worked together in Jamaica.
Okay, no, so this is the point. The part of my story where I'm like, So I had no
ice cream.
intention to go to Jamaica because I was in school. I didn't have money. And then I was biking home from a party, 3 in the morning, College Street, and I see Masia outside of College Street Bar. We're like, hey you. And then you were booked to play at Manifesto Jamaica.
Yep.
And let's just do a little bit of that sauce. And then you asked me, oh, are you going to go to Manifesto Jamaica? And I was like, nah, I'm a student. I don't have money, blah, blah, blah. And then you were like, well, I have a grant and I need to hire someone to like document and film my performance and my journey and whatever. Yeah. And you're like, don't you have a camera? You do that thing? And at the time, this is what I did. So I was like, yes, I do. And you're like, great. You should just come with me. And I'm like, this girl don't know me. We just met.
The vibe is strong.
You know,
I trust my gut.
It's 3 in the morning in Toronto. Like, we're definitely not fully there. And I'm like, this girl is making offers to me. And I remember taking down your number and texting you all caps like, Masia, if you're serious, I'm serious, okay? If you're serious, I'm serious. And the next day we had a chat, and then very shortly after I got booked flights to come with you to Jamaica, where spent 3 weeks. We went from Montego Bay to Negril to
Orange
Kingston.
Hill. Yeah, we went everywhere.
And that's when we solidified our now 14-year-long sisterhood.
Friendship, sisterhood.
Craziness.
Camaraderie.
Yes. Okay, yeah. So I've added now the stock. Oh
Looks
my
good.
gosh,
that's really good.
Crazy. Yummy. And I think while this is happening, do you mind to turn this one on? So you'll just hit that, make sure it lights first. So push, and then
You need it on low or
on high? Because we're gonna boil that for the new doughs.
Okay.
Yes. So we're gonna let that simmer, and then usually you don't add cream till the end because then it gets like
curdled,
just right?
Leaves out at the end.
Let's
let your noodles find themselves first.
There you go. And then I don't want to forget that we're gonna put some more jerk.
It's to your own taste, I have people that find it's not meant to be spicy, actually.
Yeah. I've done 2 spoonfuls. We're going to see how that goes.
The Scotch bonnet is a hybrid Scotch bonnet because Caribbean Scotch bonnet doesn't take to the soil very well in Malaysia where we were growing. So we made it a Scotch bonnet with a Sarawakian chili, which is East Malaysian chili, and it was good. So it's a true one love.
Shout outs to
pepper,
Sarawak, Borneo.
The East meets West literally in the sauce.
Just so cool. It's literally the hybrid sauce. Okay. Oh my gosh. You can't smell it, but it smells amazing.
It smells really good.
And it's spicy. It's like
I've been thinking of bringing it to Vancouver because I brought a bunch with me. Yeah. And all of it's spoken for. Like, everyone's like, I'll buy it. I just ended up selling them like the second day.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to have that on low. Let it simmer.
Beautiful.
Okay, so I was talking about Jamaica.
Okay, Jamaica. Then back to Southeast Asia after that.
Okay, so yes. How did you end up going to Southeast Asia and that journey, that next chapter of your life?
Well, the truth is, it was inspired by meeting Tupac's ex-girlfriend who was a psychic, but I won't get into that.
What?
Next chapter. But I realized
I've never heard this story. I'm so upset you're just going to drop that on me and not continue.
Then I realized that I've been away from my family for a long time. I wanted to go back. I've been so disconnected from my roots. I speak Chinese and Malay like an 8-year-old kid because that's when I left Southeast Asia. So I picked up everything. Left my little home in Orange Hill and went back to Southeast Asia and started to learn the way. I had been still touring and performing in Southeast Asia over the years, so I had made some musical family. Shouts out to Truth, Q Sound, Mojo, all my peoples, Noise out in Southeast Asia. But I had never really actually put roots down there. So I did that, touched down in Singapore, realized that hip-hop was kind of popping in Singapore. I wanted to represent something that was underrepresented started the Singapore Dub Club to bring Caribbean, island culture, Afro beats, just music that wasn't really, and cultures that weren't really well represented in that part of the world. And it was amazing. We got to bring down for the first time to Singapore Sister Nancy, Johnny Osborne, General Levy, Hugh Brown, Mighty Crown from Japan. And really also became a platform.
Should I do all three?
Yeah, drop that.
Whatever.
Don't be shy when you
Pasta's
cook.
going in.
You know?
It's happening.
It's a Rasta pasta. You got to be bold.
There you go.
And believe in your choices.
Continue.
So it was a nice platform also for Southeast Asian reggae artists and ska artists to perform and DJ. A lot of the DJs in Singapore really love dub music, but there wasn't really a venue where they could show up and play dub. So, yeah, it created a really beautiful community. How?
How?
Okay,
Good.
how?
Good.
Yeah, coconut and Southeast Asian ingredients. Always can. Always.
Yeah.
Like,
wow. That is
coconut
it's
cream.
Not too spicy. It's
It looks
super
good.
flavorful. This is my first time making it, and we're doing it on the show live. The fire roasted tomatoes did something. Like, I'm so glad I read that. You know, people on the blogs, they be writing, right, and then you're like, get to the recipe. And then at the very bottom
Yes, why do they do that?
It's because they want...
Is there like longer, like,
I don't know.
payment if you like sift the
like how long they're on your...
page?
Yeah, exactly. Something like this.
Get to the point.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a food blog that's just like, get to the point. And then the other stuff if you want to read it.
But what I'm saying is, it's a good thing I did read it, because the suggestion was to add fire roasted tomatoes.
Yeah.
And they had that at the store, and I think it added a little bit of je ne sais quoi.
In cooking,
Yeah.
just as in life, it's the nuances that are the real gems.
That's it.
So, God is jazz in the details.
Okay, sister, try it.
Okay. Big moment.
Yeah, try that. I didn't even try it with the coconut.
Really good.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just...
Really, really good.
I am excited. We haven't even folded in
Folding.
the mushrooms.
How you fold in mushrooms, girl?
Oh, see, okay, I was nervous about fold, like that. Like that. I was nervous about the coconut milk
could do
kind
more.
of being too
Yeah.
coconutty.
You don't apologize for coconut milk.
But I also don't want it to, I want it to make sure it gets a little bit thick, not soupy. But yeah, the coconut actually
brings out the flavor.
It brings out the flavor, and it doesn't taste overpoweringly like sweet coconut, you know?
No, because you have the acidity of the jerk
Yes.
together with the coconut milk. It's nice.
And then I didn't even have to add more salt or anything, because the
Let me
veggies
watch
were
these
salty.
noodles, though.
You do that.
Get chopsticks or
Or
something I could sift with.
tongs.
Tongs,
Right
okay.
there. There you
Also
go,
can.
sis. Those cook pretty fast. It takes like 4
Yeah.
minutes.
They're a blanching situation. I think they're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah?
Let me try one.
Yeah, pull that out and try it. And then I know once this gets thicker, I want to fold in the mushrooms, add some Parmesan cheese, and then I think the sauce. You know what? Let's just add some parm now.
I know, super not ready.
Deceived.
Extra al dente.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think adding a bit of the cheese thickens the sauce too.
Nice.
Yes. I'm more of like a post cheese kind of girl, like after, but I want this sauce to get nice consistency, the perfect consistency.
Nice.
So yeah, Masia mentioned Singapore Dub Club, Singapore Dub Club, which, I love when you tell this story, because now I'm going to tell it for you, but well, when you had moved there, I remember you telling me about it and being like, I'm here to be closer to my family, reconnect with my roots, but I'm also struggling because it is a culture shock, right? And like, especially a space that is traditionally more conservative culture, and you missed Jamaica and North America for, especially the music culture. And I understand that, like when I've lived abroad in different countries, like I realized I'm like, dang, I really love Black American music specifically. And to not hear that it was like, you know, a struggle for my soul. And so the formation of Singapore Dub Club was like your way of finding the other people in the pockets of Singapore who also loved that music, because there's a lot of expats who live there too.
Yep.
And to start to bring them together under this umbrella with events and DJs who loved that music. And it gave those people who were like hiding in the closet playing this music for themselves to then share it to
feel community, feeling like they're not crazy.
Exactly. And to feel a sense of camaraderie with one another.
Yeah.
And then entered Kazi one more time because you were organizing something that was super ambitious. You're like, I think I want to do like a mini festival, international meetup. And it was Singapore Dub Club, but then brought to an island, which is about an hour and a half speedboat ferry ride from Singapore to an Indonesian island called Bintan. And you're like, I need you. You have all these skills. And can you come here for a month? And I'll fly you down and come and tour with me. And at that time it was Denisha Pendergrass Marley, who is the oldest granddaughter of Bob Marley and amazing activist, filmmaker, also because music's in her blood, so gal can sing. You know, and you had invited her as the headlining guest to screen her film that she made about Rastafarianism, her relationship to her grandfather Bob Marley, and then booked a tour for her to screen this film in Bali, Singapore, and the Gili Trawangan Island. And so I'll never forget this trip. That was so dope. And like it became like special. You know, Bob Marley sing along every night because everyone would hear about it. All these people who played reggae music in every place that we visited.
Yeah. It was really special. Like, it was the idea. I think it's ready.
You think it's ready? Okay.
The idea was to have kind of like a private festival where people could come, but you bring your friend. And if you knew a friend that knew a friend, then you could come. Because presumably we know good people.
Yes.
Within our own groups.
Watch out behind you.
No problem. Yeah, it was a really special time. And also, you know, we pay into all of these festivals and experiences that we pay for. But to me, it occurred like, who could understand what we want and the intimacy and the specialness of that festival that we could create for ourselves? So that was the idea, and it came together thanks to you, thanks to the amazing people that worked on it. And I think those are some times that a lot of people would never forget.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty crazy.
Well, for me...
We had Vancouver artists, Buckman Coe come out, Mary Anchetta came out. Just really... people from around the world that came through and just met on this island and was like, all right, let's jam and get to know each other. It
was like less than 100 people, like 80 or 90 people that came through.
But the Gili Air one turned out to be over 1,000 because whoever was already on the island just came through.
Yes.
Which is pretty amazing too.
But that first year was that was my first time traveling to Southeast Asia. Since I was 18 years old.
Oh, dang.
So I hadn't touched that part of the world. Okay, sorry. Quick, because, you know, now it's a timing thing, right?
Yeah, things are happening now.
Things are happening now. This is low. Let's use the front here so we're closer. Cool. Now we're going to fold in the mushrooms, like we said. You want to do the fold or you want to do the mushroom?
What do I do?
Like, you know, just put them...
I don't fold, I just sprinkle.
Okay, okay, the mushrooms are here, and then that's like a fold.
Okay, I'll fold it.
Sis?
I'll fold it
out.
Fold. I'll fold it out.
And I have to do the head tilt when I say that. That's the fold. There you go. Are you a run this under cold water type of gal?
Yes.
Yes.
Because to stop it from cooking.
That's it. Oh my gosh, that looks so good.
My folding technique is improving with each fold.
Yeah, with each fold. I'm also like, how? Because, you know, this pasta is not going to fit in that pan.
No, pasta on plate, put over. All right, it's all right.
You think?
Yeah, you want to mix up inside?
What do we think, Jamal? His preference is in the pot. In this pot?
All together?
Yeah. Because then it like soaks up the flavor, and then it's, you know. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. We out here freestyling, wilding, making a rasta pasta.
I'm too much of a slave to IG. I'm like, when you pour it over, the picture is beautiful. But we're about to taste today. We're about to taste.
Yeah, slash, me
right.
and Jamal are not at that level of content creatorship, nor do I think it is in our future goals to be that. You know, like, I just discovered that there's all these AI apps that do that for you.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Everything.
Everything.
I even mixed down some of my music with AI now.
Oh, yeah? And is it good? Is it accurate?
Oh, yeah. It's really, really good mastering, to tell you the truth. It lacks the nuances that an experienced engineer would know.
Yes.
But if I'm mixing it down just to demo to a producer,
Yeah. It's not
or
bad.
for social media, that kind of thing, then it's great.
So where's the line, sis, before we put people out of jobs?
Where is the line between AI and actual authentic creatives?
Claro.
Well, AI draws from creative that exists already, right? It's learning from what's there. So
Right.
eventually it's going to run out of ideas if it's only pulling from a pool that's stagnant. So
Right.
there'll always need to be a creation.
Okay, this is how we're gonna try and do things right now. I'm gonna maybe use that spoon, sis.
Just
and
like full
Yeah, this-
lift and dump, no?
lift and dump.
Yeah.
Can.
Let's do this.
Oh wait, because you know
fire?
blocking. We
Oh,
want to do
bad.
it. We want to do it in front of the camera.
Okay.
Ken.
But my left hand's weak.
Okay, let's do it like this.
Scoop.
Okay. Ready?
Team effort.
Go. Go.
Dun,
Go.
dun, dun.
Go.
Dun,
Gentle,
dun, dun,
gentle,
dun.
sister.
Gentle. Sorry. More is more. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
It's okay. This is how you earn your stripes in the kitchen. It's like you put your hand on the hot burn. Okay, you do the tossing. I'll just run my slightly burned hand under the cold water.
Okay. Things are
We're-
happening,
We're fine.
but as long as it tastes good,
That's
it's worth the
important.
sacrifice.
Yep. How's that looking?
Looking great.
My most important thing is like the ratio of noodle to sauce. Look good?
I like a lot of sauce to my noodles, so I
Yeah.
think this is like a good ratio for normal people.
Yeah.
But I would do even more sauce. More. More is more. More eats. More beats.
More bites.
More bites.
This girl called our show Beats, Bites,
Yo,
and More.
remix.
Should we change our name?
No, that's
Okay.
encouraging biting. We don't want to do that. No biters.
No biters. Okay, we're gonna get our little table space
This
ready.
smells so
to
good.
eat.
It smells spicy. Smells
Yeah.
creamy.
Yeah.
Oh, it just smells really good, actually. All right.
Okay, so now we need the plates. Do you know how to do the like fancy? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, show me what a fancy looks like.
You know the.
Oh, I fully broke the.
Them peoples on the internet, they like take the pasta and they put it on the plate.
Your
and
hand's
and then
quivering.
no, it's not. And then they, you know.
Oh, they give a turn, like a
They give a turn.
slight twist.
This is what I'm saying. The twist of the wrist, my friend. Okay, let's do that again.
I don't know about this twist thing, man. Yeah.
The twist.
I don't know about this twist thing, you know?
I meant to look cute, and now it's like slightly messy.
No.
There.
That's the twist?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Then now you gotta get the cloth and like clean.
This is my
side.
point. Just
All right, give me another plate. I'll do the second twist.
whatever, man. We're not super famous Instagram food bloggers here.
Yes,
Not trying to be. We're just out here making content. Okay, cheese.
Twist.
She's doing the twist.
I'm doing the twist. Watch this.
Twist.
Like a G.
Oh yes, that's good. You
Like
got
a-
good veggies on there.
Like a twisting G.
So I've got some paprika. What does paprika even taste like? Can someone describe these flavors? Because, you know, I'm not really
Do
sure.
you describe paprika?
You know, Jamal and I were trying to find paprika
Like
in the
earth
in the
and
spice-
sunshine?
Earth and sunshine.
With some
Let's
chili
get some
powder in it?
Forks here. That's a spoon. There's the forks.
I'm gonna rep all three Rasta colors on this.
Or do we do chopsticks because it's the Rasta Asian fusion pasta? Sis.
Maybe chopsticks.
Maybe chopsticks.
Yeah.
Kenla.
No, I cannot.
Okay. So, there. Yes. This looks so good. I'm gonna put.
It is beauteous.
Yeah.
Pure color.
Pure color. So like, let's cheese it up.
Cheese mine. I won't paprika mine.
Okay, no paprika. More cheese.
More cheese, more bites.
This took the whole show to make. That's great.
You guys usually finish before the show?
Well, it depends on what we're cooking, you know? Today was an experiment because we've never made this, and except, you know, I've made pasta. I'm going to do a little fresh
It's a racy
scrum.
situation, this live stream. What if, like, you know, the thing just...
Who's going to cut me off?
It come out and not make it, you know? Like, you eat it and you're like, oh, that was great.
Exactly.
No, but this is great. I can
But
smell
that's the point. That's for the hits. Like, imagine we went through all this effort and it tasted bad. Everyone would just be laughing at us.
And just be like, don't do this.
Don't do. Here's something you don't do and spend for a whole hour of your life. Okay.
You ready to do this?
We ready? Zoom in for the reaction shot. I want a piece
my
of the
left-handedness
mushroom.
is like conflicting.
And I want a piece of the pepper. I got no noodle.
I'm just pure jerk mushroom.
Okay.
I go for the gold.
I'm trying to pick up literally the noodle, but
You're
it's
fine.
slippery, fam. Whatever. Y'all are going to see me slurp it. Okay.
Yeah, slurp.
1, 2, 3.
Takimasu.
Itadakimasu.
Bust a slow wine.
Boom, shakalaka.
The food nice. It's really nice.
Oh my gosh. Now I want to hear IMDb and Masego.
Yeah.
Rasta pasta.
Cue the
Tag-
soundtrack.
I'm going to tag you on this. Because... That's good.
You did a thing. We did a thing.
We did a thing.
Yeah. This is a new thing.
You can tell because my eyes get really wide and it's just like... That's the reaction shot, you know?
For me, I just stopped talking. More each.
More fire. Wow, Masia.
This is boom. Okay, interview over. We're eating now.
Well, it's literally been more than an hour, right, Jamal? Yeah. We've like talked about so much and like also showed the good peoples how to make
Rasta pasta.
now verified, really delicious. This is Rasta Asian fusion pasta. Why? Because Asians made it and because we put Asian mushrooms and Asian noodles.
And the herbs and spices were grown in Southeast Asia.
With the jerk. That adds a really nice kick. I'm impressed. Dang, there's so much we could talk about, sis.
What I love about food as a great unifier is when you're blessed to travel to many different places and meet different cultures and meet different people from all walks of life, you actually don't start saying like, oh wow, there's all these different things. The more you travel, the more you see that things are exactly the same. And human beings are actually very similar. And things that they love, there's a piece of this culture that reminds me of something across the world, or there's a piece of this that reminds me of something around the world. And there are unifiers that bring people together, and really good food is one of them.
Yes. Oh,
Yo,
what's
what
up,
up?
Eva? On the
That's
reach.
Yvonne. Big up yourself, girl.
Oh, Yvonne. This guy pronounced Yvonne Eva.
No, that's her IG name, you know?
Oh, I see. Sorry, Jamal. No shade.
Yvonne, let people know about the Suka Suka, because she's a good customer too. And an amazing singer.
So, what's next for you?
What's next for you?
Yeah, like what is inspiring? You know, this is a gal who constantly is reinventing herself, pursuing new things, trying out new ideas. Like I've never known anyone to be as like what's the word? I don't have the word.
Mad gal. Sorry.
Mud. Just mud.
My mother calls me like, a rolling stone gathers no moss. But I wonder, who wants to gather moss anyways?
What does that even mean?
That means if you're like here, there, everywhere, you don't just like focus your life in a cubicle and just work on one thing your whole life, you'll never gather the moss that you want to gather.
Right. And your point is like, who wants to gather moss?
My point is like, when things get like rotted and forgotten, don't they get covered in moss? So is this like really the saying we want to use? So I think it's important to have self-discipline, and when you have a project, see it to fruition and believe in your project and believe in your gut instinct and all of these things.
Bet on yourself.
Bet on yourself and bet on your creativity. But I also think that, change is something that many people are afraid of, but sometimes it can make really amazing things come into your life that you never expected. So I'm definitely at a juncture of change now. I've recently relocated to Taiwan, which I'm very excited to understand a whole new place. And also just being back here in Vancity this time has just brought out all this nostalgia, all this love out of me.
Yeah.
Even me starting my musical journey as a Canadian, my first record is Mississauga, because I didn't really start rapping and MCing until I was in Toronto. But I've never come back to Vancouver, the place of my birth, the places that I grew up, high school friends, all of this stuff that really shaped me. And I've never taken the time to write the music and connect it with the community from the place that I actually grew up. So it's been really inspiring to be back this time. I'm looking for different ways to connect with creative community here. And I hope that, from wherever I am in Asia or that kind of thing, that I can help be a facilitator and build bridges between those places back to my hometown, basically, which is Vancouver. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm really excited about. And as we're talking about this now, this is what's happening in real time, like bubbling in my head. And that has me excited again.
More Masia in Vancity. Return of the B-Girl.
Yeah.
Hey.
Return of the B-Girl for real.
Aw. Well, we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, sorry.
Unfortunately.
I went into the food again.
No, that's
yes,
okay.
Casual, no big deal.
We'll just pose for the camera. I'm so grateful that you got to be here on the show with us.
I'm so grateful too. Thank you. I think this show is doing such amazing things, telling the stories that need to be told, sharing people's lives, doing it in a way that is delicious and relatable. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
Oh my gosh. Well, if y'all are in Vancity tonight, Masia is going to perform a few tracks at Santana's, co-hosted or co-facilitated by Icon Hiphop. Santana's is
in Chinatown.
There we go.
Kiefer Street.
Around what time are you gonna?
10:30, I'm told.
Okay. So if you want to see Masia One live and you are in Vancity, make sure you check it out. Appreciate everybody who tuned in, who witnessed us make Rasta Pasta for the first time, who have been fans and followers of the show.
And shouts out to people in Southeast Asia tuning in, because it's like 5 to 6 a.m. out there.
Major fans. Major Masia fans. We appreciate you. We out here on the unceded ancestral lands of the Musqueam, the Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish First Nations, what is colonially known as Vancouver, and what we love to call Vancity. This has been Vancity Beats, Eats, and more. Time to eat more Rasta Pasta. Peace. Bye. Later.
Soundtrack. Cue soundtrack.
Cue soundtrack.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yum, 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 yum.